What's up, guys? It's Dr. Jim. I am your chiropractor, your natural healthcare expert. I am your specialist in autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions, and I'm here to try to make the very, very complex seem very, very simple for you tonight. So I want to welcome you to tonight's series, part 2. The title is part 2 of the 5-part plan for overcoming autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions naturally. All right, that's pretty exciting stuff. That's something that I think we all want to know about. A lot of people watched the one we did last time, part 1. So tonight is part 2 of how to overcome autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions naturally. When you're getting on, if you'd please put in the comments, because you know I want to know where you're coming in from, and whether you're watching it live or on the replay, because I love to know where everybody's coming in from. I had people from all over the world commenting on my video last week, and I want to see more of that this week. It's going to be a great video. All right, so once again, part 2 of how to naturally overcome, of a 5-part plan, how to naturally overcome autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions. All right, thanks for getting on. I appreciate it very much. Now, a little housekeeping for tonight. I did a video last week. I believe it was maybe Tuesday night, maybe it was Wednesday night. But after I did that video, between then and now, that video has now had over 2,100 views. All right, it's had about 68 shares and 158 comments, and that's awesome. And I'm super excited. But guess what? I know we can do better than that. All right, so I know, because this information is so vital, it needs to get out to everybody that's out there. So please like it and share it, put comments in. It helps it spread throughout all over the country and all over the world. So please like it and share it, share it, share it, share it, so everybody can get this information. I really appreciate you if you do that. The second part of housekeeping is this. After last week, at the end of the video, I said, hey, you could put in a, and I'll do it later, but you could put in a word and we'll send you a message and you can get a free consultation with me to discuss your situation. Now, a lot of people, we got an overwhelming response of people that wanted a free consultation, and we may have missed you, all right? Or you may have put in the right thing and the automated bot didn't do what it was supposed to do. So if you tried to get in contact with us, if you responded last week and you want that free consultation, I'm going to give you another offer at the end, but if you wanted that consultation, just message me directly on this page and just type in free consultation and your phone number. All right, and I'm sorry if we missed you. There was just an overwhelming response, and I'm sad that if we miss you, I apologize, but there was just an overwhelming response. We've already done a ton of those free consultations. We only have limited spots for them, so if you want them, at the end of this, it's going to fill up quickly, so please get them, all right? So, the disclaimer for tonight. I'm not your doctor tonight. You are not my patient tonight. There is nothing about this video that constitutes a doctor-patient relationship, so please do not change anything about your current medical treatment because you heard me talk about something cool in this video. So, we're on to part 2 of the 5-step plan of how to overcome autoimmune conditions naturally and chronic health conditions like diabetes. All right, so if we're going to be on part 2, we should really talk about what we talked about last week real quick, which was part 1, which was we said you have to put out the fire, right? Too many people are spending a lot of time, chasing symptoms all over, and nobody is really addressing the cause, right? And so if you really want to overcome, step 1 is there you go, Rhonda, you got to put out the fire. That's number 1. That's part 1. So what's part 2, right? Well, part 2 is if you in this 5-part plan of overcoming autoimmune conditions, is you have to beware of the treatment merry-go-round. All right, now what do I mean by that? What's a treatment merry-go-round? Well, it starts like this. Number 1 is, one of the things you have to avoid doing is going more and more testing so that you can get more and more diagnoses, right? See, I think we have this problem with, we just think if we go to more doctors. If we could just get more tests, and the more tests we get, we're going to finally get a name of what we're feeling. Our horrible energy, our gut problems, our bloating, our aches and pains, our eye twitch, our skin condition, whatever it is, what you have to do is we have to really stop constantly looking for another name or a new diagnosis, because you know what? It is a huge waste of time. Because I'm sure you've done it. You went to this doctor and then you went to this doctor. And you got this test done and this test done. And then you find more testing and more testing. And basically what you end up with the end of it is you've spent a ridiculous amount of time and a ridiculous amount of money, and at the end, maybe they gave you a name to something, but maybe they didn't. So you don't really know any more now than you did when you started. So this is the beginning of that treatment merry-go-round, is constantly looking for more and more diagnoses, more and more tests to find out what we're going to call what you're experiencing, right? Well, that's a huge problem, right? Because you're wasting so much of your time, so much of your resources all the time. You're not getting any better. You still feel awful, and you just keep going, get more testing, all in the hopes that somebody's going to finally give you a name for how you feel. Well, here's part of the problem. Our whole medical system is really set up around, we spend a ridiculous amount of time and resources on diagnostic testing, all right? And then at the end of that diagnostic testing, and all the hours and all the visits and all the money, maybe they give you a name to what you have, and then they tell you, yeah, we're sorry, we don't really have anything to treat that. So you can spend literally years and tens of thousands of dollars trying to get a name to what you're experiencing. And in the end, you've just wasted a lot of time and a lot of money while you're still sick, because at the end they gave you a name and they don't have anything for it. All right? So that's kind of a big deal. Listen, this is what I want you to understand. Most of you, if you're listening to this, most of you already know that you have some type of, most likely an autoimmune condition or a chronic health condition. At least one. All right? And if you have at least one, we don't need to continue going on finding more and more names for all the other places. Because this is what you need to understand. There's about 10,000 different places things like autoimmune conditions can attack. And we only have, there are only like specific tests for about 500 of those locations that it could attack. So what's the likelihood that you're going to be able to find an answer to everywhere that your immune system might be attacking right now? It's probably not going to happen. So it's a huge waste of time and money, and you will just leave frustrated and you will continue to be sick. So step one in getting off or beware of the treatment merry-go-round is please stop running and searching, trying to get more and more names for how you feel. More and more diagnoses and names for how you feel are not going to get you any closer to your goal of feeling better and doing better. All right? Because once again, does that put out the fire? No, it gives names to all of the symptoms. All right? And so it's not really helping you get any better. All right? So, step two. So if number one is you got to quit searching for names. Number two is I want you to question the standard treatment. All right? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the standard treatment typically in the United States for chronic health conditions and autoimmune conditions, well, this is what happens. First of all, our medical profession, medicine in the United States is incredibly great for infectious diseases and emergency care. But what it's not great at, what it was never designed for, was for chronic conditions. And what we see as chronic conditions is what is on the rise. That's growing exponentially, and it's literally because our standard care right now is not set up for chronic health conditions. All right? So take, for example, this. Let's take type 2 diabetes, for example. You've had insulin resistance long enough that eventually you can no longer keep your blood sugar under control. All right? So you go to the doctor, they check your blood, and your fasting glucose and your A1C are out of the range, and they go, oh, you're a type 2 diabetic. Here's metformin, or here's glipizide, or here's both of them, and then you start doing, and maybe that works for a little while. Your blood sugars come down, you're pretty pumped. Once again, we're treating a symptom there. We're treating high blood sugar, which is a symptom of a problem, not necessarily the problem. And you go through that for a while, and then eventually your blood sugars start to go up again because they didn't treat the cause, so the blood sugar starts climbing again, and then guess what happens? Now your doctor looks at you and says, listen, you can't get your blood sugar under control. We have to put you on insulin. All right? Now you're taking insulin to get your blood sugars down. But guess what? Where does this make sense? All right? Insulin resistance was the original problem to begin with, right? And now to treat it, what we're giving you is more insulin. Does that make any sense to you? Does it make any sense like, hey, insulin resistance caused this problem in the first place. Let's give you more insulin now. All right? It doesn't make any sense, right? So that's a huge problem for type 2 diabetics. And then what do they always tell a type 2 diabetic? If you would just lose weight, that would really, really help you in controlling your diabetes. But what they don't tell you is that insulin is a primary fat storing hormone. All right? You can't burn fat in the presence of a bunch of insulin, and you're now pumping insulin into your body. What is the likelihood you're going to be able to lose weight to try to get your diabetes under control because you're now taking insulin, right? So do you see the problems here? So this is why this is questioning the standard treatment. Now, I'm not saying don't do the standard treatment, but you have to question it, and by questioning it, it's about what is this actually doing? What am I actually treating? And when you find out you're really just treating the symptoms and not the cause, then you can still do that treatment, but then you got to also focus on the cause, right? Now, let's take something like hypothyroidism, for example, right? The standard treatment. Well, you're at home and you're like, man, my energy is awful. My skin is dry. I'm so tired. I'm gaining weight like crazy. My hair's falling out. I've lost the outer third of my eyebrows. My digestion's really sluggish. I can't regulate I'm freezing cold all the time. And you look at all that and you go to the doctor and you say, Doc, man, I've got all these symptoms. He goes, sounds like you have, or she, sounds like you have a low thyroid. They run a single test, your TSH test, and it shows up out of range. And the doc goes, yep, you have hypothyroidism. You have a low thyroid. And you're like, oh, thank goodness. I finally have an answer to what's wrong with me. You've got a name. You've got a diagnosis. And so you're happy. Like, okay, this is what's wrong with me. Doctor says, here you go. Take this prescription for thyroid hormones for the rest of your life. And this should help bring your thyroid numbers back into range. Come back and see me in 3 months and we'll check it again. And in 3 months, you go back to the doctor. Doctor's like, we got it. Your TSH is in normal limits. Everything's perfect. And then this is when you look at the doctor like he's or she has lost their mind. She's like, Doc, I don't understand. My energy's still awful. I'm still freezing. My hair's still falling out. My skin's still dry. My sex drive's no good. My digestion's sluggish. What do you mean, like, I'm fixed? And then the doc goes, well, I mean, your TSH is in the normal range. So you definitely don't have a thyroid problem anymore. So are you sure you're not depressed? And then that's when oftentimes the script runs out and people end up on needless, antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications because you still have all these symptoms, but they're looking at their single test going, no, you're fine. Well, here's the problem. The number one cause of a low thyroid in the United States, bar none, is an autoimmune condition that attacks your thyroid. It's called Hashimoto's, all right? And this is the thing, that autoimmune condition, even if your thyroid numbers look normal, it can interfere with how your thyroid hormones talk to your cells. It can cause it to fluctuate all the time, so the test isn't really accurate. And this is the problem. Even if you have a forward-thinking doctor who says, well, let me check that. Let me see if you have Hashimoto's. And they check it and they go, yep, you have an autoimmune condition, Hashimoto's. Guess what? the treatment is no different. They either give you or take away thyroid hormones to keep your TSH in normal range. That is the standard treatment. Now, if it's an autoimmune condition causing your thyroid problem, but yet we're not doing anything for your immune system, does that make any sense to you? Of course not. And that's why I say you've got to question the standard treatment. Now, I'm not saying don't do the standard treatment. You may need to take thyroid hormones. That's completely okay. If your immune system destroyed enough of your thyroid and it can't make enough, you're going to need to take them. All right? But if you take them and everything on the lab looks great, you should feel great. If you don't, there's a whole underlying cause that's not being addressed. All right? So you have to question the standard treatment. Now, you may think that I'm just picking on medical doctors or the medical profession because I'm a chiropractor and I'm into natural health care, and obviously I have an axe to grind with the medical profession. Absolutely not. All right? Because the next step, or step 3, is you have to beware of the guru protocols. All right? Now, if you get out there in the natural healthcare world and you start looking around, there's a lot of gurus out there. There's a lot of fake experts. And these gurus and fake experts out there are putting out all kinds of information. Now, I also don't want you to think that I think that everybody in natural healthcare doesn't know what they're talking about. There is a tremendous amount of really awesome people out there doing awesome work, and I love them, and I support everything they're doing. But what you often find out in natural healthcare is there's a guru for, say, like a leaky gut. And there's the thyroid guru. And, just basically that, if you fix your leaky gut is causing all of your problems. And if you just get on my leaky gut protocol, it's going to fix all of your problems. And then there's the thyroid guru. They have protocols just for your thyroid, and that all of your symptoms of your whole body are because your thyroid isn't doing great. And if you just take this amount of iodine, or you do this or that, that's going to fix everything going on in your body. And then, there's the Lyme guru, and that may be part of your problem. And there's the guru that says, listen, if you just, if you cleanse your liver, that's going to fix all of your problems. Well, here's the thing. Now, I'm not saying that you may not need to fix your leaky gut. We just don't know. I'm not saying that you don't need to work on your thyroid or your adrenal glands or cleanse your liver. The point is, you might need to do those things. We just don't know. All right? So when I say look out for the guru protocols, one of the things that typically happens is I hear it all the time when people go, well, I'm already following such and such's, autoimmune protocol, and I still feel bad, so it's got to be something different. Maybe I'm missing this or that. Well, this is what I want you to understand. I have read a ton of these gurus' books, whether it be for thyroid protocols or autoimmune protocols or liver protocols or diabetes protocols, but this is what I know. I've read all of those books. I've looked in them, and I see all these names appearing on the screen. And the one thing I can say is that none of your names were in those books. All right? Those books were not written specifically for you. All right? So when you're following a guru protocol, it may be a great protocol. It just may not be perfect for you. So you got to beware of the guru protocols. All right? So number 1 is please stop chasing the tests and looking for more and more diagnoses or more names for why you feel bad, because in the long run, that's not going to fix your problem. Number 2, question the standard treatment, because most standard treatments don't make logical sense, and they're ultimately just treating symptoms and not really getting to the root cause. So always be looking for root cause. Step 3, lest you think I'm just picking on the medical profession, be careful or beware of the guru protocols, because listen, they may be great protocols. You just don't know if they're the right protocols for you. All right? And then step 4, stop chasing the magic pill. All right? Now, do you get what I'm talking about here? We have this obsession that there is this magic bullet out there that if we found it, the Holy Grail, the one thing, if we just find that thing, it's going to fix everything that's wrong with us, right? If we take this one mineral, we'll be able to lose weight like crazy. If we take this one vitamin, it's going to make all of our inflammation go away. And what I want everybody to understand is we have to get away from this one deficiency, one supplement way of thinking, all right? That is not how your body works, all right? Because I want you to understand, going on in your body right now are literally millions upon millions of processes per second. Not a day. Millions and millions and millions. I saw estimates of 37,000 billion per second. That's what I saw earlier today. It seemed nuts to me, so I wasn't going to bring it up. But that's how many processes are happening per second in your body right now. Now, maybe you're, I should be vitamin C will fix everything. Or, man, I've heard a lot of people are really low in magnesium. Got to start taking that magnesium. That's going to fix everything. You have to get past this one deficiency, one supplement mentality. Because listen, there are those billions of processes happening in your body. And every one of these biological pathways require vitamins, minerals, fatty acids, amino acids, enzymes, cofactors, trace minerals, all of these different things. And nerve impulses, it requires all of these things. And to imagine that a single magic bullet is out there, there's some superfruit that you're going to start drinking a juice from that's going to magically take care of all of your autoimmune and your health conditions. That's just not how the body works, all right? You're not going to find that magic bullet, all right? Now, with all that said, I am going to share with you a little secret, all right? This is an actionable step, all right? I really want to give you a lot of value tonight, and this is where the value meets the road, all right? These are actionable steps you can do right now, all right? If we were really talking about the close, there's two things that I consider actually fairly close to magic bullets, all right? They don't fix everything, but they're about as close to magic bullets as there are out there, all right? Now, and one of them, it was determined through the most advanced testing in the world for metabolic conditions, determined this with over 40,000 cases, all right? So with that in mind, the same testing that I'm going to tell you about in a little bit, they determined that there was one common theme across autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions, all right? And it was low vitamin D, all right? So do you hear me? Do you hear how important vitamin D is? If there was one thing that I might consider a magic bullet, even though it's not a magic bullet, it's as close to a magic bullet as is out there, is vitamin D. All right? It's vitamin D3. All right? Now, why is it so important? Well, vitamin D interacts, it regulates, it modulates over 2,000 genes in your genetic code. All right? Do you understand that? Literally over 2,000 genes, 1/10 of all of the genes in your body are modulated by vitamin D, all right? And by modulated, I mean some genes, they can be turned on or turned off, all right? Do you hear that? That's how important vitamin D is. And this is the thing. There has been an extreme increase in vitamin D deficiencies. We spend more time inside, all right? We're more and more afraid of skin cancer, so people are SPFing up, and it blocks the sun from creating vitamin D in your skin. And so vitamin D is very, very low. It's the reason why autoimmune conditions increase as you move north, all right? The further from the equator you get, the higher increase of autoimmune conditions there are, because those people get less and less sunlight. They get less and less vitamin D from the sun. They're more prone to autoimmune conditions. So you need to be taking vitamin D. Now, if you are looking for vitamin D that I recommend, you can message me and I will send you a link. You can order the vitamin D that I recommend. But Vitamin D is about as close to a magic bullet as there is out there. Number 2, another close to magic bullet is CBD oil. All right? And I bring that up because CBD oil interacts with something called your endocannabinoid system, which helps balance many systems in the body. And so when you take CBD oil, you help create balance in all kinds of different systems in the body, and that gives you a big impact all over. So between vitamin D and CBD, they're about as close to magic bullets as you can get. However, they are not the end-all be-all. All right, there is deeper stuff. So if you've done D and you've done CBD oil and you did not end up with the end results you were hoping for, doesn't mean those are bad. It means they're great. Keep doing them. It just means you're missing a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Didn't we say that all those processes take minerals, vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, enzymes, cofactors, all of these things? Well, guess what? Vitamin D, CBD oil, that's not all those things. So you could have problems in those other areas that also need to be fixed. But D and CBD oil, super positive. That's my actionable step. I think that those are as close to a magic bullet as possible, even though I really recommend that you quit searching for I just gave them to you. So there's no need to search for the magic pill, the magic bullet anymore. That's as close as you're going to get, and they're not magic. All right? So, kind of recap. Part 2 of the 5-step plan to overcoming autoimmune conditions and chronic health conditions naturally. Well, you've got to get off of the treatment merry-go-round. You got to quit searching for more and more diagnoses and more tests when they don't do anything to actually help fix you. You have to quit. We got to stop with the. What you need to do is you need to question standard treatment. All right. I also want you to beware of the guru protocols, because you know what, they may be great, but they weren't written specifically for you. And then you got to stop looking for the magic pill, the one vitamin, the one mineral, the one superfruit that's going to fix you, because it does not exist. All right. Those are important things. Now, so how do you go about taking this? How do you work on this? Listen, when you mix, all right, how do you really get out of this treatment merry-go-round? All right, well, when you mix the very, very best that science has to offer, the very best that the medical profession has to offer and research has to offer in the way of testing, and you mix that with natural healthcare philosophy, all right? When you marry those two things together, that changes the game, all right? And that's exactly what I've done. Now, I want everybody to watch all 5 parts of this series, all right? But I also know, especially from talking to people from last week, is that this can't wait till the end of the series before I say, hey, do you want to talk to me, all right? There are people that don't have the time. They are sick and suffering and hurting and feeling awful, and waiting a week before they can get answers or get moving to helping heal is just too long, all right? So I wanted to announce, just like I did last week, I have started an amazing collaboration with a group of medical doctors in Europe. Now, for 10 years, basically, they have been using the most advanced testing in the world, metabolomic testing. Now, what that means is, inside your body, every biochemical pathway in your body, at the end of it, there are metabolites, the end products of the processes. Well, with this testing, we can test over 5,000 metabolites, all right? So we now know anywhere there's a breakdown, anywhere in your body, in any of those biochemical pathways, we know where it is, and we know exactly what's missing so we can fix it. It's precision natural medicine. It is as precise to you as your fingerprint, all right? This is beyond your DNA, all right? Your DNA only tells you what could happen. This is actually telling you what's happening right now, your DNA interacting with your environment. And once we know where those breakdowns are, because it's going to give us the state of your gut health, your microbiome, infections, neurotransmitters, mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, fatty acid deficiencies, how your body breaks down carbohydrates, proteins, fats. It's going to give us exactly the exact perfect diet for you. All right? And it's going to give us the exactly what your body needs to take to fix all of those biochemical processes. Now, when you put all that together, all right, this system, the doctors that I'm collaborating with in Europe have treated over 40,000 people. And of those 40,000 people, there's been an 85% success rate, which equaled a significant reduction in symptoms or a complete resolution of their condition. All right? Now, that is mind-blowing. There's nothing like it else in the world, and I'm bringing it to you here in the United States, or really anywhere in the English-speaking world. If you want this level of care, if you want my help, what I want you to put in the comments is just put test. If you type in test, then after you put in test, look in Messenger. And in Messenger, you're going to get a message from me. It should be automated. I hope it works tonight. But you're going to get a message from me that's going to give you more information about the test, explain how the testing works, all in the program, and it's going to tell you how you can contact me to get a free consultation. So if you want this test, if you want more information about the program, if you'd like a free consultation with me, put test in the comments. Now here's the thing. This is, and I know it's backwards, but this is the test pack that I send out to your house, all right? It's very, very simple. You prick your finger and you dab blood and you pee in a tube and we ship it to Greece, all right? And in about 3 weeks, we know everything that we need to know. And in 3 to 6 months, you have resolution of your problem. Does that sound like something that you'd be interested in? If it does, put test in the comments. It's going to change a lot of people's lives. Please like this and share this, because I guarantee you know at least 5 people, all right, that need what we're talking about. You know 5 people that have ulcerative colitis, that have eczema, that have MS, that have lupus, that have Hashimoto's, that have, every autoimmune psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, there's a million of them, all right? You know all those people. And you know people that have heart disease, that have diabetes, type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, all right? These are the things. I want you to know that this is a game changer, all right? So I hope you will put test in the comments. Please like it and share it. Get this out, because, man, we've got to save lives, all right? Save lives. That's my goal. We're changing the world, anywhere English speaking. So if you're not in the United States but you speak English, you message me, man. We are going to hook up and we're going to take care of this, all right? You, me, and the doctors that I work with in Europe, we're going to change your life, all right? And I'm committed to it. It's going to make a big difference. So, part 2, get off the treatment merry-go-round, right? Number 1, you got to put out the fire. Oh man, my phone rang right in the middle of my live. Get out of town. But put out the fire. You got to get off the treatment merry-go-round. All right. Please put text in there, test in there. Put your comments in there. I love to help everybody. All right. So just like I tell my son every day before he goes to school, be your very best today. # never quit. And I believe that God wants the very, very best for you. And the day you believe that could change your life forever. Have an awesome, awesome day.